Hello, and welcome back. My name is Laura.
I'm Joel.
This is Shaggy, and we're the Newlydeads.
And he's the Newly Dog.
And this is part 2 of, what are we calling it?
The Story of Us.
The Story of Us.
Which this will be episode, video 151.
Oh.
But unless I call it it'll be 151. But, it's a special event, 150th video, so figured let's do something special.
Yeah. Watch
So,
out, Shaggy.
if you did not watch part 1, that was kind of our history up to the engagement. And part 2, we figured we'd do the proposal, the engagement, and the inevitable wedding, which then leads us up to where we are now.
Yes. So he was talking about our engagement last time. And, do you want to explain it?
So I started working on this project about January, February. We had talked, we talked a lot, obviously, getting to know each other. And one of the things Laura's always kind of wanted to do was travel more. She hasn't done a super lot of it. She's been around, but just not, as much as she'd like. And I've traveled around the world and back in Canada and everywhere except, I think I haven't gone really much south, but did a lot of traveling growing up because of my folks. And so my thought was, how can I kind of give her the experience, to travel more, but without going anywhere at that point. So what I did was I went and ordered a set of postcards that were for all 50 states, and they're the ones that say, welcome to blah, blah, blah. And so each one of them was a different one of the states. My idea was that I then looked up online each of the main branch
like headquarters,
right?
Like the main post office for the capital.
The capital of each state, right? And I did a collection of addresses of all of them. I then labeled each one. I got an envelope, put the postcard in it, addressed the postcard back to myself. Wrote a letter that went into the envelope as well, explained what I was doing, and sent it care of the postmaster at that particular, the main branch, and said that I'm going to propose to my wife. I'm trying to get all of these postcards returned to me. Nothing had to be done. All they did was open it, take the postcard out, drop it in the box, send it back to me, so that it was postmarked with that state and that location, the city, the capital. And within that, there was a nicely worded letter that we have a copy of in our book. We probably should have grabbed the book.
Well, I was going to say, you'll probably put, photos of the book.
I can.
We'll do some, video stuffs of the book.
Some video magic. Mm-hmm. I can. We can do a copy of that. And then
do a green screen back here.
We do have a green screen that we'll be utilizing at some point.
Yeah.
So each one of the postcards then had one word on it, and in those, postcards, I wrote it out in such a way that all of the words then became the proposal. So that as she, what I did was, as I got them back, I put each one into the book in order of alphabetically. And so that when she got it, she could look at it, she could see that where the postcard was from, see the postmark, see, that it had been mailed back, and the one word that was on there that then, as she read it, it led up to the final thing being where I would actually get down on one knee and propose. Yeah. And out of all of the postcards, there was only one that I didn't get back. Thank you, City of Brotherly Love, Pennsylvania of all places.
Yeah. Which is funny.
The one place that doesn't
really
send it
funny.
back.
Yeah, you'll find out why it's funny here in a second.
And then the only one that actually returned it and then wrote their own note was Oklahoma. Thank you, Oklahoma. The person that got a hold of it said something like "to love's eternal glory" or something.
It was very, very sweet.
Very simple but sweet.
Yeah. They said congratulations or whatever.
Yeah. So then I put them all in the book, and then it took me, I got a couple of short bursts where I had a bunch all at the same time, and then there were just a lot of stragglers from there on out. But all in all, it took me I mean, it didn't take me a full year, but it took me a good chunk of the time between when I started the project to when, because I mean, when you've got that many postcards that you have to address and put together, I took photos of the whole process, just so I could show her kind of what all was done to get to that point.
He's very thorough.
And incidentally, she said yes. But then I also got a ring that
You're a strange dog.
was apropos, had a skull on it with what looked to be like her favorite flower, which is a dahlia. There's skulls on either side, which
I'm gonna show you.
if you can see it. Trying to stay out of the way so you can see it. Which was, something that was handmade through our fine friends at Etsy. Well, you're just going to sit and not let her sit back, are you? And
that's all he wanted the entire time, was to
sit behind,
to block me.
So
Pretty sure that's from him.
Yeah, that's all from him. So the night of the proposal, prior to that, of course, I was nervous. I did tell a few people what I was doing.
Sorry.
We had gone out for sushi, because what do you do when you go out for your anniversary? Because
dog.
We'd gone out for sushi, and then the whole night I was nervous about that because I wasn't planning on asking there, but I debated that, but I didn't want to make it into a big spectacle. I wanted it to be more intimate. But at the AFSP walk, her parents were helping prior to this.
That's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
That we're both committee members here locally. I asked her dad, to which he, of course, immediately said yes and gave me a hug when her and her mom went off to go use the facilities. So I did do the right thing traditionally, according to, kind of what is not expected, but is kind of
it was a very polite way to do it.
Tradition. And what am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something.
So, we went out for sushi, and then you came back here. You gave me the book. I read the book.
When did we go out for sushi?
Huh?
When did we go out for sushi?
When?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What day was it that I proposed?
It was the 8th. Yeah. So it was like our
It was 1
anniversary.
year from our original first time we talked.
Yeah.
So.
And then...
So I was going to ask on Halloween, but we had already talked about if we were to get married again, we both agreed we wanted to get married on Halloween. So I didn't want to do it then. I wanted to do it on our anniversary. Plus it gave me a little more time to get the rest of them.
Did you give him his medicine?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's just hungry.
I know. He's very hungry. He's like, please, sir, give me some food.
Have some more, please.
He's so depressed.
No.
We went out for sushi, and then we came back here, and then, he proposed.
Yep.
And then we, cried and gave, people phone calls and,
posted
all sorts of stuff.
To which the world exploded at that day. I don't know. We've never had a single post ever since then that's been as huge as that one was.
Yeah.
And all the people that knew us either knew what was going to happen or were expecting it at that point. I don't think anybody was surprised.
No.
By that. But that was a good day.
It was a good day. And then we decided to get married, obviously, because, we were going to set a date. So that was in 2019.
Yep.
And then, so we were like, let's just get married on Halloween in 2020. Yeah. So...
We started planning.
in January. We went to a couple of venues. We found the venue that we wanted to go to, and we put down the deposit.
And when we're sitting at the venue...
In February. And while we were sitting at the venue?
No, when we were sitting at the venue... Oh, no, that was when we went back to do the tasting.
Yes.
That we were sitting around, and our person that was coordinating for us, Chris, who's amazing, by the way... We were talking about everybody buying all the toilet paper and everybody buying all the good stuff and this sickness that was going around.
How crazy it is. And then all of a sudden, they decided to shut everything down because COVID happened. But, at that point, this is super early on in the pandemic. And so we were thinking, it'll be fine by
Maybe.
October.
It'll be good, right?
My boss even said, she's like, aren't you nervous about your wedding? And I was like, why are you jinxing me? And then I was like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm like, that's like 6 months away. Everybody knows that that's not the case. So things were still shut down. Everything was like quarantined.
But we planned the whole time.
We did.
We did everything ourselves.
Yes.
As far as
we had to kind of pivot a little bit and change up some things because we still wanted to get married because first of all, it was a blue moon.
Yep.
Halloween.
Yep.
It's a Saturday.
Yep.
Why not? And it's 2020, so it's like, 10/31/20, like everything was like, I don't know, sounded...
It seemed like the right thing to do in terms of what we had wanted to do.
The only bad thing was we couldn't have anybody there with us.
And we had started to get some things back that people weren't going to be able to come. And there was a point where we thought the venue was still going to be open, and that was a bit of a judgment call. And luckily, we decided together that we're like, we're just going to call it because we can't risk it. And then shortly after we called it, the venue said that they were having to shut down too.
Yeah. And then she's like, but we'll give you your date, You
won't lose anything.
No. And so we got to switch it to the following year.
But your family...
Yes.
Was kind enough.
Yeah, my mom and dad decided, we originally had planned our friend to be the officiant, but again, we were trying to quarantine everybody apart and keep people apart. So my dad became an ordained minister.
Still is. If you need somebody to marry you.
Mike Butler. He got ordained, and then they said, yes, you guys can get married at our house. And so luckily my dad had just cleared out a whole lot that was right next door, so it was beautiful area and these trees and it looks like so where they live, the lot is a double lot now or triple lot that he's got, and so there's certain angles that it looks like you're in the woods, but you're not. My mom and dad's house is right there. There's a neighbor. They live on a cul-de-sac, and then right below them is a whole bunch of houses and then the lake. But you can't really tell in a lot of the pictures. So it's kind of pretty, and it's quiet there, even though there are some houses and stuff around us. But
incidentally, we had to plan an entire second wedding because of what happened.
Yeah. So
granted, it was much smaller, but
right. And I wore a different dress. We had an amazing photographer, my friend Nicole. She, came out, did the photos, and did kind of a special photo shoot. So she was our photographer for. Oh yeah, that part. That's the part we forgot.
That's what we forgot.
Sorry,
Liz. We'll circle back in just a second.
Yeah. So she did the photos for the first little wedding, the ceremony. I do this. That's when we got actually married. But we recorded it.
Yeah, it's the very first video on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you scroll back all the way to the beginning, it's our third most watched video.
Yeah. My brother, so the people that got to come, were my mom and dad, my brother, and his kids. And then the photographer.
And then the photographer and her partner.
Yes.
So,
that's it.
9 people?
Yeah. Everybody else watched it. We did it live too, right?
We did a Facebook live stream because I've got family in Kansas City and Colorado, and you've got family. We both have family everywhere, basically. I mean, there's family.
Yeah,
all
my
over.
grandma, lives in Alabama, and my aunt and uncle, they live in Alabama. Both of my aunt and uncles, and one of my aunt and uncle live in, Florida.
And everybody was still kind of, quarantining things. So it was the easiest way for us to kind of get everybody to be able to be there as much as possible. And, it was a quiet ceremony outside. We got pizza from the local joint afterwards, so we could all just sit around and eat some pizza and talk. And
it was nice. Lots of pumpkins. Nice. It was on Halloween. It was really pretty. It was a nice day. It was warm out.
It was in the middle 50s.
Yeah, so for the end of October, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, I had zero complaints in terms of...
It was a little chilly towards the end, but that was because it was starting to get night time.
The outdoor photos, which the photos are on both of our Facebook pages, but maybe I'll again.
She did some really cool shots, where it looked like we were on a murder spree or something, like with like machetes and all sorts of fun stuff.
Which made the poster slash thing invitation for our second
pretty neat, because it was like
made it the sequel,
the renuptialing.
But
to
circle back,
yes, I want to back up. So
yes.
Nicole, we asked her to be our photographer for our engagement photos.
As you do.
And so we were like looking for a place. My friend Melissa had introduced me to this really awesome store in Rockford that we talk about on every video pretty much.
What store is that?
Wolf Hollow, located here.
Put the address up again.
And so I was talking to Joel, and I was like, where should we do our photos? Because we wanted to do them in February or March. It was cold out.
We went there in February.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
cold. And so
it was February for sure.
Yeah, he was like trying to think of places, and like, you know, we had only gone to that store a couple of times at that point. Like we, you know, didn't really like talk to the owners or anything like that at that point. So he had like talked about Ghoulish Mortals, which is really a really cool store in St. Charles, but it's real far away.
And it's not really the right vibe.
We don't know though. Well, it's not local. Like, you know, it's local. It's a local store, and they're really kick-ass, but not the right vibe. So we were just like, you know, thinking about it, and I was at Wolf Hollow, and Joel's like, what about this place, you know? And so I was like, oh. So I called there, or went there.
Yeah, we went and talked to him.
Both of us at the same time? I don't remember that. I thought I was by myself.
I think you went by yourself.
I went to go pick up a poster or
That's
something.
Right. For the wedding.
I bought a poster for the wedding.
Which we have two of those now.
Yeah, there's two skeletons, and they're like kind of entwined, and I think it says like until death do us part. So anyways, I when I was there picking up the poster, I was like, here, you know, because Joel had said, you know, maybe we could ask them. So then I thought, okay, you know, let's do, you know, maybe ask them. And I was like, so you know, this poster's for our wedding, and they're like, oh, that's awesome. And then I was like, you know, this place is really cool, and like, you know, like, would you ever be interested in like allowing people to like maybe get like photos taken here? I was like, this, just the vibe is like beautiful, gorgeous.
It's very relaxing,
and they graciously said yes.
Yep, they said yes to the dress
without like any hesitation, which is that's just indicative of those, you know, their personality and just their I can't say enough good things about the Wolves.
They came to our wedding as well.
Yes.
They're part of our story. I keep saying that, but I feel like everybody...
He always says that. You're part of our story now.
Everybody that is entwined with this us, I feel like it's important.
If you meet us, you're part of our story.
Not necessarily.
He's very cute.
They ended up letting us come in before they opened. They gave us like a half an hour to do the photos.
Yeah.
And Nicole and Brock came and shot the photos for us in the store. Liz and Randy, you know, helped us out with providing some props and things.
Yeah.
And
allowed us to do like the little photos and stuff, and so
we even got a photo of them together that was given to them as a thank you.
Yeah. That started our little friendship with them,
which is going strong today.
Yeah.
Good things just happened today, speaking of which.
Yes.
But yeah, I talked about that in the last video.
Yeah. So yeah, that's their part of the story. And then so fast forwarding back now, so like we're married, and we decided to go. We wanted to go on a honeymoon. We weren't sure where we wanted to go initially anyways. Nope. I think we were like playing around with like going to like Salem. We were talking about going to like, you know, Gettysburg or like someplace spooky, you know, kind of a thing.
Ghosty.
Yeah, but
sort of thing.
We couldn't because it was the pandemic, and like that was just like too much up in the air. We didn't really want to drive across state lines and like do that kind of stuff. So we went on a mini honeymoon. Mini moon, if you want to call it that.
Which was a good time.
It was fun.
Little day trips.
We still had to be masked and stuff, but like we went to Chicago and went to Woolly Mammoth, which is a really awesome oddities store.
Yep.
Please go check out Woolly Mammoth in Chicago. The reason I found out about that place was because we decided before we got married to go get tattoos.
which has become a thing apparently.
Yeah. So we got the Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, which is super adorable. We got that done at Delicious Ink. Yes, she's the one that told me about woolly mammoth. So we added them to our little list. So she's part of our story too.
She is though.
She is part of our story.
She was very excited about doing the tattoos for us.
Yeah. And so we had them like for the wedding too, which made me feel like a badass because it's a big giant tattoo.
And it's a joint piece.
Yeah, and it's a joint tattoo, but it's like still separate.
Yeah.
We wanted
no
that.
names.
No names. I'm not going to put like George.
Yeah, that's a good way to end things quick with people.
That's never going to happen.
But yeah, we went to Galena. We went
we went
Quad Cities.
Quad Cities for like a day, and then we went to the House on the Rock.
Yep.
That was really, really fun. And
just a lot of little day trips.
Yeah, little day trips. And then we got to come back home like most of the time.
Hang out with the dogs.
Hang out with the dogs. Everything was like nice and quiet, and it was like,
the kids
it was fun.
Stayed with their mom.
Yeah.
And it was just chill.
It was a very nice week.
It was a nice
yes.
time.
But then we got to plan a second wedding because we were going to do like the big things. We wanted our friends and families to be like involved. And
so we had 2 years essentially to gather all of the stuff, buy the things, make the things, because we created like 75% of the stuff that was there.
Yeah, already.
Outside of the food obviously wasn't us and the venue wasn't us, but the things that went in the venue is either on loan from the venue itself, their Halloween decorations, or things that we had loaned to us.
Yeah.
Or what we made.
Yeah.
Because we like to make stuff.
Yep. So in 2021, on Halloween, actually it would have been the day before. Yeah. So we decided to do our renuptialing.
So we got married twice. That's what I keep telling her. Yeah. Like, I loved you enough to marry you twice. And I'd do it again. And
I got to wear like a big fancy dress this time.
I got to wear a suit and tie.
I had a train.
All of our friends came.
It was black and white, kind of gray like looking. Our friends got to be part of it. So... Yep. That was super fun, although we had a couple of incidents with people getting COVID. Unfortunately, sorry, Nisha. I'm sad you couldn't be in it, but also thank you to Ashlyn for stepping in.
And Bob.
Yeah, they both were just like the champions of the reception.
Neither of our ushers were able to come.
So he stepped in for that. She literally, like the day of the wedding, was like, all right, I'll stand in. And yeah, so it was pretty amazing.
But we had a full wedding party on both sides. And, granted, not everybody could come, but I feel like we still had a great turnout. People that were there had fun. Food was great. Cake was great. Everything went off for the most part, minus the things you just mentioned, without a hitch for the most part.
Everybody had a blast.
Lots of good pictures, lots of fun. Your dad married us again.
Yep.
And
he made us like this really cool arch. Yeah. So, it was perfect. And then we got to go on like our actual honeymoon. We went on a big road trip, bigger road trip.
I purchased a car. Boughten? That's a word.
I just purchased a car
in like July.
Yeah.
And we took it on the road trip for its first drive out and left Halloween morning.
Yep.
And drove.
Yep. We drove to Indiana first. So we went to Cleveland.
And we went to...
And then that Cleveland was cool. We went to a Parisian restaurant kind of thing,
Indiana.
like French restaurant. And we went to... Yep. And then we liked Cleveland. So we stayed the night in Cleveland. We went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then we went from there to Pittsburgh. And then we only stayed one night in Pittsburgh, and we didn't really go anywhere in Pittsburgh the first time. Because we didn't have time.
Oh, right. It was kind of just a stopover.
Yes. So then we ended up going to Gettysburg, was like our ultimate destination.
Which sounds weird to people because you're like, are you history buffs? It's like, no.
I like history.
We like ghosts more than history.
Yeah. So we got to go like on walking ghost tours, and it's like a real quaint little town. It's kind of like Galena, kind of a place.
Good food.
And then, super good food. So the funny part is when I was talking about his, who didn't send back the card or whatever, it was Pennsylvania didn't send back the card, but that's ultimately where we ended up going for our honeymoon. But then we ended up going to Washington, D.C. for a day and ate some really yummy food there and got to see a bunch of cool stuff like in Washington, D.C.
Did a lot of walking. Went to the Exorcist steps.
Yep.
And the house.
Yeah.
And one of the best things, though, one of the most fun places was when we went to the Living Dead Museum.
Yeah, so on the way back.
Monroeville Mall on the way back.
We went on the way back, and we also stopped in a random, like, Joel driving going, I think that's where my friend Cody, who I've never met in my entire life, but I've been best friends with, like, online, you know,
protege.
He's your, like, yeah, he's your mini you or whatever, like, your protege. Like, he loves this guy. And, like,
like, we're in Coshocton. I've never
random.
know where this was.
And then he's like, and he works at a Subway by a gas station that I know. Like, you know, and, like,
I had no idea where he was.
No, like, it was just, I knew
it was a small town.
And we were on just a highway.
And there was a gas station with a Subway.
Yeah, there was no, like, plan. And so we were like, let's stop at this gas station or like the Subway or whatever.
I'm like, do you mind? And you're like, no, it's fine.
I was like, we're right here.
We'll move on.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many Subways can there be in this town? It's probably the one that's on a different one.
We walk in, there's like some random guy, like Joel's kind of peeking around a little bit. I go to the bathroom or whatever.
I went to the bathroom.
And then Joel's like, ask the guy, like, is Cody here, right?
No, I heard him say, you know, I gotta go take the trash out or whatever, and he's like, all right, Cody, I'll see you in a minute. And I was like, no way. It's like, no way. So Laura's outside waiting on me.
Was I?
Are we still in the bathroom? I don't remember. I feel like you were outside by the car.
Yeah, I think I was outside. And then you came out.
And he was
taking the trash out.
Yeah.
He was outside. And like and Joel saw him.
And I said like, hey, Cody, or something like that. And he said he recognized my voice because he knows me since I've been the first show I did when I first started podcasting in 2006. So he knew who I was from that. He recognized my voice, and he turned around and he saw me, and he just
like ran into each other's arms.
It was a very cute moment. It was nice. So we hung out and talked for just a little bit because, you know, we had to hit the road again. It was literally just an unplanned stop.
It was very cool though.
But
he was so excited.
Yeah.
Like both of them were so excited.
So we got some photos of that. And spent about a half hour chatting it up real quick and then
came back home.
Hit the road, came back home. Incidentally, you had moved in prior to us getting married, sinners. And we should the other thing we should probably mention is our wedding rings.
Yeah, our wedding rings are really cool. Yeah, we tried to make like the little details of things. So you want to take yours off or you want to
Wonder Twin Powers.
I don't think it's gonna.
So the idea was
it's got his fingerprint.
And mine has her fingerprint.
So like it's engraved in my ring, and then like my fingerprint is engraved on his
and
ring.
Then she wrote in mine.
Yeah.
And I wrote in hers. It's really tiny.
I can actually see it now.
Can you see it now?
Yeah. It says, "You are my zombie."
And mine says, "You are my soul nerd," which is what we call each other.
Yeah, I can actually read it. I have bifocals now.
Mine, I've got to have a ring resizer, so it kind of covers that part of it. But
yeah,
we're not extravagant people. We don't need like high dollar, like big giant diamonds or things like that.
Yeah, these were pretty cheap and they're perfect.
Handmade stuff for your ring, and then this, and it just suits our personality. Yeah,
and the crazy thing is, it's like this is kind of like a small ring, and no matter like what size I've been so far, like it still fits. It's like the traveling pants, but
mine I need.
Yeah, he needs to
either need to resize it or get a new resizer.
My engagement ring, on the other hand, it's always been a little big.
Right.
Yeah, so I wear it on my index finger here instead of with my.
I don't know if I heard the car door outside.
Yeah, but that's the end of the story.
I think so. I think that brings us up to now for the most part.
Hopefully you like this video.
Happily ever after.
Yeah. You should check us out on the Newlydeads.
Spookily ever after.
Spookily ever after.
Yeah.
So check us out on the newlydeads.com.
Somewhere in this area.
Thank you for watching.
And I'm Joel.
And I'm Laura. We're the Newlydeads. We'll see you next time.